Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. It is pouring down rain right now. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Tim Harris. It's time for 10 with Tim. You ain't doing nothing else right now, so you might as well sit down and read the Bible with me. How about that? We're going verse by verse through the book of Numbers. It ain't fun yet, but Numbers gets fun. It really does. But we're still in the numbers. Actually, I like today, you guys. Y'all know me. I sometimes think, oh, this isn't going to be good. And then I get in it and it's really good. And I found a lot to like. I kind of got into the Nazarite stuff. I really dug into some of that today. Numbers chapter 6 and Numbers chapter 7 is where we are. I hope you're doing good. Numbers chapter 6 starts out with all of the explanation of a Nazarite vow. Now, I don't mean to, I just want to make sure you're clear. I don't want to insult you if you think, well, of course I know that. But Nazarite and Nazarene aren't the same thing. Jesus was a Nazarene. He wasn't a Nazarite. Samson was a Nazarite. He wasn't a Nazarene. You see, they're not the same thing. Nazarite, which is what we're talking about in Numbers chapter 6. Nazarite comes from the Hebrew word nazir, which means consecrated or separated. So a Nazarite vow is just a vow of separation or special dedication for a very personal purpose and for a very specific time. It is rare that a Nazarite vow be lifelong, although there are in Scripture perhaps three instances of lifelong Nazarite vows. How about, I'm not going to tell you what those are. Put it in the comments. If you know today the three people, one of them's kind of iffy, one of them was not really good. He wasn't the best Nazarite, but he was supposed to be one. I think you know who I'm talking about. The other one's probably lesser known, but a Nazarite as well. So there are three, possibly three. One's in the New Testament, and these are lifelong Nazarites. Now, Paul makes mention, I think Acts several times in Acts chapter 18, I think he mentions his own Nazarite vow. Paul, I think, cuts his hair at the end of a vow, which was a Nazarite vow, which is interesting. He wasn't a lifelong Nazarite, but he obviously took a vow. For us, it would be the analogy for us would be a fast. Like I might go on a personal fast for a season in order to dedicate myself, for a personal period of time where I'm really going to seek God. And so, it's that sort of thing for most people. A Nazarite vow is temporary. But like I say, there were three lifelong Nazarites that we find in Scripture, and see if you can name those. Nazarite vows. Let's talk about them. There were three primary vows or parts of the vow. First off, it's an abstinence from wine. Anything that comes from the vine. So you can't have grapes, you can't have grape skins, you can't have grape seeds, you can't have raisins. Anything that comes from the vine is forbidden. So no wine, nothing that comes from the vine. This is probably a symbol of abstaining from all kinds of worldly pleasures. Wine was obviously just your beverage every day. Most people, that's all they had. I mean, it was the only safe thing to drink in most situations, but it also had to do with festivals and feeling good and parties, all of that. And so it is a sign of sort of separating yourself from worldly pleasures. The second part of it is no haircuts. You got to let your hair grow. This is an outward visible sign of dedication. It's interesting because Jesus says when you fast, don't walk around looking hungry and pitiful. It's not for show. It's not for show. So in my life, if I'm fasting, I try to make sure I don't look haggard. I'll allow myself mints because there's nothing as bad as fasting breath. When you're not eating, you don't salivate, and so your breath gets terrible. And so I think I put a mint on my breath, because again, fasting is a personal thing for me. But in the Nazarite vow, there is that external sign. You let people know, but it's also a visible sign for you as well. It's part of stepping out of normal routines in order to seek and be in the presence of God. The last part of this is no contact with dead bodies at all. This, of course, has to do with purity and holiness. But also notice how all of these actually go beyond even what was required of priests. So for this, temporary, and that's the thing, of course, this is voluntary. Nobody has to be a Nazirite, so maybe, well, two of them that are lifelong Nazirites didn't have any choice in the matter, but they were dedicated to God. But most of the time, this is voluntary. You choose a Nazirite vow. It's temporary, and like I said, it's deeply personal. What I love about it, and I guess I just learned this today as I was reading the passage, I love in it's right there in verse 2, where it says, if any of the people, either men or women, take a special vow of a Nazirite. So women took Nazirite vows. I didn't know that. I'd wondered that. I probably thought maybe they couldn't. But women could, and I love that. That means, although women in some ways were forbidden from, the priesthood, so to speak, they're not forbidden from living a priestly life. You could choose a Nazirite vow, and in that sense, your dedication goes beyond that of the priest in every way. Priests actually, they weren't supposed to have long hair. They had to keep their hair neatly trimmed. And a priest, of course, could drink wine, just not when he was on duty. And a priest, was allowed to go near the dead body of a relative, except for the high priest, I believe. Check me on that. I'm just saying that most of these vows go a step beyond what was common even among the priests. And so a person could choose, out of some deep sense of devotion to God, they could choose a Nazirite vow, men and women. And again, I just think that's fantastic. At the end of chapter 6 is the famous Aaronic Aaron's blessing. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to smile upon you, be gracious unto you. The Lord show his favor and give you peace. I love that. Beautiful. One of the most famous passages of Scripture, a very common blessing even in our day. What some people make of this, and I don't know how far to take it, but it's this threefold use of the Lord, Yahweh, threefold use of his name. May the Lord bless you, protect you. May the Lord smile on you, give you gracious, be gracious. May the Lord show you favor, give you peace. The Lord, the Lord, the Lord. Some people make a Trinitarian reference out of that God himself is three in one. And even this blessing from the priest Aaron suggests the threefold nature of God. I don't know how far to take that, but I like it. I like it a lot. Chapter 7, what about it, y'all? The offerings of dedication to the tabernacle. I learned to like this chapter. First off, I was reading it and thinking, good night. They all bring the very same stuff. Each tribe brings their offerings one day at a time. So on the first day, Nahshon, son of Abinadab, leader of the tribe of Judah, presents his offering. His offering consists of a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds, a silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, measured by the sanctuary shekel, filled with grain offerings of choice, flour moist with olive oil, brought a gold container weighing 4 ounces, brought a young bull or ram, a year-old male lamb, a burnt offering, a male goat, peace offering, 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 male goats. I mean, it goes on and on. That's like the first dude's offering, the first tribe's offering. And then it says his name twice, And then day 2, Nethanel, son of Zuar, leader of the tribe of Issachar, presented his offering. He brings the same thing. A silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds, silver basin weighing 1¾ pounds, measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel, both filled with grain offerings. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. All the way down to a peace offering, brought 2 bulls, 5. I mean, it's the same thing. Remember when I told you could skim stuff? You can skim this. It's the same thing. Says his name twice. I mean, oh my goodness, 3rd day, 4th day, on the 7th day of Christmas, my true love. I mean, it's just like that. 5 golden. And then the 12th day, the tribe of Naphtali, Ahira, son of Enan. I mean, he brings the same thing, a silver platter weighing 3¼ pounds. I mean, it's the same words. You could have copied and pasted, or you could have just said ditto, So why doesn't it just say ditto? I mean, that's what I asked myself. Why doesn't it just say ditto? Or just like, okay, they all brought the same thing and this is what they brought. List it one time and save some ink, But I think this is beautiful and important. Number one, it gives each tribe equal honor. So each tribe has their own day. They have they don't just all show up one day and you forget who gave what. I mean, that they all bring the same thing on their day. And their gifts are cataloged and described in exactly the same way. To just say, yeah, and then the next tribe, they just brought the same thing. It takes something of the dignity and the personal nature of the gift if you just say ditto. You know what I'm saying? So each tribe comes, they bring the very same thing. Again, this is an expression of unity, equal sacrifice, equal commitment, equal dedication. And so each offering is treated uniquely, even though they bring the same thing. Again, it gives every single tribe the same status. Nobody owns the tabernacle more than the others because they brought more. No, 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 no. And God gives careful attention to each person, to each person, each leader, each tribe. Their individual offerings get equal attention from God. Even it's like, God can say, yeah, all right, I saw that. Same thing. No. It's like your grandma, who every, kid, whatever, makes her a potholder. And she's just like, like it's the best thing she ever got. God, every single 12 days of it, 12 days of tabernacle dedication. And every single day, God's like, oh my goodness, why, it acts like you never seen anything like it. I love God. I love him for that. We're personal. It's always personal. And so each tribe, their offering is cataloged and dignified and received by God with the same pomp and circumstance and celebration. And again, equal. They all got the same skin in the game. That they all share equally in the tabernacle. I did like the way they bring it on the wagons. And it's like, hey, let's give those wagons to the tabernacle. So when it's time to move the thing, we can roll it. Except for the work of the Kohathite division. Remember, they're carrying the most holy things. It's like, no, we're not going to put those in the trunk of the car. You're going to carry those on your back. Those are holy, and I love that. That last verse 89, good night. 89 verses in chapter 7, but the last verse is beautiful. And again, I told you to skim, but when you skim, don't miss the good stuff. And verse 89 is the good one. Whenever Moses went into the tabernacle to speak with the Lord, he heard the voice. He heard the voice speaking to him from between the two cherubim above the ark's cover, the place of atonement that rests on the ark of the covenant. The Lord spoke to him from there. Moses heard the voice of God. I love that. So there you go, y'all. I mean, yeah, chapter 6 and 7, I thought it was going to be slow, but I actually enjoyed this day of Bible study with you. Tomorrow we'll do 2 chapters again, chapters 8 and 9. And again, it's okay to skim. I get it. I understand. But don't fake it. You can skim a little bit, but skim so that if somebody asks you what was in it, you'd still know what was there. If it gets repetitious, I understand. But let's do chapters 8 and chapter 9 for tomorrow, okay? I love you guys so much. Listen, man, I don't know about this weather today. Stay in, stay dry, stay in the Word, and I will see you in the morning, Lord willing, 10 o'clock for 10 with Tim. Have a great day.